Hello there, this is Gary Short with Gibraltar Software. In this video I want to give you an introduction to the Loupe for the web software from the point of view of a software developer on your team. So first of all, what we're going to do is to have a look at a piece of software that we've introduced a bug into. So here, just for the sake of demonstration, I create a car object where the fuel level is 0. I then have a test to say if the fuel level is 0, then create a warning to say that car of this particular registration number has no fuel. Then we'll do further processing where we assume that the car is going to get fuel. And then at the end, if the car still doesn't have fuel and we're just going to simulate that it doesn't, then we're going to throw the car not fueled exception and report that to Loupe. So let's go ahead and run this and see what kind of mayhem this causes. Okay, so if you've got notifications turned on, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get this nice little email which tells you which application and which version was running on which particular machine and who was logged into it at the time. And then you're going to get a list of any warnings down here, as well as any errors that actually occurred. It's worth noting, of course, that you can pick up this email from any internet-enabled email client, whether that be on the iPad or on Windows tablet, or whether indeed it's on your smartphone. You don't have to be tied to your desktop machine. But having been notified of an error, let's jump into Loupe and see what kind of information we can get there to help us fix it. Once you've logged in, the first thing you're going to see is the Loupe dashboard. Now here down the left hand side you can see a list of all of the applications that Loupe is currently keeping an eye on. If you favourite one of these applications, then you get these little badges will appear with all your favorited applications, as well as this nice summary information giving you an at-a-glance look at what's happening with your application. This Acme software is the one that we've introduced the bug into, so let's jump in here and see what information we can find. Now if we look at new events, we can see we've got our warning where the car has no fuel, and we've got an exception here where the car ends up with no fuel at all, and an exception is thrown. So let's jump into the warning first of all. And here you can see that you get a lot of nice summary information in regards to the date and time that this warning was first seen, the date and time that it was last seen, as well as which version it was first seen in and which version it was last seen in. If we click on this link here for other session events, we can see that session event that happens at the same time was actually this exception here, so it's pretty clear that both of those things are tied together. If we click into the actual exception, again we can see nice summary details with regard to time and date that it was first seen and last seen, and which versions as well as some handy metrics down here. Information with regard to the category and class, what kind of exception it was, and then further down more information about the machine that was actually running it. With this information, I think we've got enough detail now that we can go ahead and create an issue for this. So if we click on the create an issue link, that creates an issue for us, and I'm just going to go ahead and accept all the default values. So we'll create that issue. And that's now an issue assigned to me. Now if we jump back into our software here and just simulate fixing this bug by actually just highlighting everything and commenting it out. If only all bugs were that easy to actually resolve. Do that, and if we remember to uncomment this line at the bottom, like so, that should have fixed our little bug. So let's run that again. Okay, jump into Loupe and have a look at new events. There we've got the downstream version, nothing for the version that we're running in just now, so that looks like we've actually fixed that, so that's good. So if we can jump into my issues, look at the exception, that we've got here, click in there, say yep, we've actually managed to resolve that. So let's click on resolve. It was last seen in this particular version, and it was fixed in this particular version here that we've just created. So let's resolve that now. And there we go, we can see the issue is marked up here as being resolved, and we can see here on the summary details which version it was actually fixed in. Now, what happens if that error should reoccur? Well, let's just go ahead and have a look and see what that's going to look like. If we reinstate that error, that should do that, and run this again. If we go back into Loupe, have a look at the recent events, click back on the car not fueled exception, we can see here that the issue has actually been made active again. It was resolved, but the same error has actually turned up. It's been marked as active again. We can click in here. We can have a look. We now see that this information has been updated to say, well, it was first seen in this version and it was last seen in this version. And so it's become active again, and we can go and investigate that and come up with another fix for it. Well, this video has been a short introduction to Loupe from the point of view of a developer in your team. There'll be other videos in the future on the subject of Loupe, and I hope that you'll join me for those in the future. Until then, thanks very much for your time. Goodbye.